Hi everyone. So we ended up getting the follow-through rally after the rally into the end of the session yesterday. Got a good continuation here into that 144 EMA area, just like we talked about on the short time frames. Now, is that 200 going to be resistance? Is this still going to be a more medium-term downtrend? Let's take a look at some of the charts and see what we think. Do me a quick favor and like and subscribe and watch the video till the end to help out the channel, and let's get started. Moving over to Fear and Greed, we stepped up to a 32, pretty solid step up from a 26 the previous day. You can see we're getting a little bit of a bounce here, higher low setup on the Fear and Greed index. We bottomed out at a 22, we ended up getting down to around a 27, 26, 27 in there, and now we're bouncing up into that 32 area. Looks pretty good. Momentum stepping back into regular fear. Strength still not showing any turn yet, still extreme fear there, but breadth showing a little bit of bounce over the last couple days. This is what we've been focused on over the last couple videos, talking about that 20-day and 50-day showing a little bit of strength. Put call ratio still bouncing a little bit, but it did come down a little bit today. Volatility coming back down. Safe haven demand, regular fear, and then junk bonds stepping into greed for the first time in a little bit. So starting to see a little bit of a rotation towards that more neutral market. Moving over to seasonality, we ended up getting the bounce here into the third. Now the next day is supposed to be a little bit sideways choppy into the Monday, and then we'll see a little bit of a decline the week after that. So are we going to see this decline here? That's going to be interesting. Shallow bottom right around the 0 mark and then rally into the end of the month. So right now, little bit of short-term bearish. Look for this here and then rally in. Then quick look at max pain. Everything is bearish here for the next couple days. We said it was bullish yesterday. It did end up following through on that, and now it's a little bit bearish into next week. Then moving over to the SPY charts, you can see we did get a nice day, 1.25%, very strong. We talked about it being bullish, step to bullish on momentum, RSI right at the SMA, critical zone there. Higher low setup on the RSI as well, double bottom on the charts. Everything looks good. For a push to that 21 EMA, 597.11 would be that target. You also have the gap fill here and then a potential gap fill up to here. So a couple of gaps on this way down. Looks nice at the trend. Looking for a push into this zone here, somewhere between 597 and 599. And then looking at that short time frame, you can see it was rallying into the end of the session yesterday. We said it looked really good, good volume. Bottom in here at that previous bottom. You can see it on the daily chart there. Rallied through right to that 144 EMA, held all those gains, closed right on the high, down just a smidge, and at the after hours, I would expect a higher low setup if we even got it. Certainly could see this just continue up into that 599 area. Still got the 200 as resistance, but everything for me says this should go a little bit higher into the Monday session, despite what we saw on seasonality. And 593.60 is that 200, so just about $2 higher. Touch that level, and then we'll see if we get a rejection, higher low setup continuation, or if it cuts right through it. Then moving over to the Tasty charts here just for a moment, you can see we hit that upper band with that rally through, back to bullish conditions, good volume at the end of the session, holding right there at the 144 EMA, same as we saw on the previous chart. And then looking at the 4 hour, you have your ATR resistance at 595.14. My expectation is to touch that level, and this looks like a good structure, same structure really, but this is the 4 hour chart. So you have that low, slightly lower low, and then we tried to go to a lower low here, immediately rejected back into the consolidation, really to the back of the high of that consolidation. Not a ton of volume on it, would have liked to see a little bit more volume there, but either way, looking for a push to 595. Moving over to the NASDAQ, up 1.64%, right to these grouping of trends here. Momentum back to bullish. I expect more continuation to the 21 EMA at least. That's going to be 522.59, and then your next level 526.50, waiting to see that zone in here. But again, 21 EMA could be resistance. It didn't overthrow it enough. I think we're going to find a double bottom here at that 509 level. That's what we're watching. Touch the 44, touch this lowest trend. Everything says this should continue a little bit higher on the Monday in my opinion. And then you can see that here on the hourly chart, pretty much the same as the SPY, a little bit stronger into this zone here. 144 EMA was your resistance again. Volume selling at the end of the session, not super great, but either way, I would expect higher low setup. We're back into bullish conditions here with the 9 back above the 21. VWAP in there rising all day. Again, another good metric here for a potential continuation. If it breaks through here, you got the 200 there, 522, and then your next level is up here, 524. And then quick look here at the Qs on the Tasty charts. You can see same basic setup, dip low, back into the consolidation, took out these previous highs here. ATR trailing stop is still at 521.33, so bearish condition still on the 4-hour chart. If this breaks out, your upper target is going to be that 526.50 area. And then similarly here for the Russell and the Dow, up 1.5%, good move there, still looking for 226.02, and then above that you got 21 in VWAP in that 229 area. Momentum bullish, RSI bullish, clean breakout here, everything looks good to the upside. This bottoming structure has continued to hold, and this is a nice another move up. We've seen this once before, but we pulled back, held the same level, continuation, and I would expect it to go here over the next day or two. And then looking at the Dow, not as convincing of an up move, but still 0.79%, still above 426.20. Quick look at Apple and Microsoft. Apple did doji 0.2% at the level 241.83. We talked about that being a zone of support. Did hold that level 2 days in a row. We'll see if that ends up being an interesting zone or not. It's been a big fall since this most recent peak, round tripping a lot of this move here, but this is an important zone. It seems to be holding, at least for now. Microsoft up 1.14%, momentum stepping to bullish, RSI probably going to go a little bit with it. Gapped right to the trend, opened at the trend, and then got a little bit of a continuation. Still below all the EMAs and SMAs, but I could see a push to at least 429 in play here with this low, higher low here. We overthrew this trend pretty substantially, but we gapped to it, still respecting it, and it does seem like we're going to get at least a small push in my opinion. Moving over to Tesla and NVIDIA, crazy moves here. Tesla up 8% after gapping down and falling on bad deliveries. Markets don't seem to care about that. Tesla's going higher here today substantially. Filled the gap, continuation to that 414.50 level after this clear double top and then move lower. And then looking at NVIDIA here, 4.5% there. Clean break above the 144.42 level, closed above it by just a few pennies. Want to see it continue there. It's up more after hours. Want to see this go to that 149.65 level. We said if it broke this trend, it was going to go, and it opened pretty much there and continued throughout the session. So nice move. Everything looks good there for NVIDIA. Nice little play, and I did take a position here. I was a little late on the trigger, but overall caught most of the move for the day. Moving over to staples and discretionary, as staples was down 0.05, still holding this key zone of support. I would still be looking to buy in here as long as this structure continues to hold and it does not close below that 78.15 level or so, somewhere in there. So far it's done it, and then you got discretionaries up 2% with Tesla leading the way. Amazon didn't go too strongly, but Tesla, big move, looking for the 9 EMA touch at 228.17. Since this trend is now broken, we did close above it here today. So looks good, step to bullish on momentum, still looking for the retest on the RSI. Moving over to RIOT and Marathon, haven't talked about these in a while because they've looked pretty awful, but both of these having a massive pop here today, 18% for RIOT, and 14.25 here, just short of 14.25 for Mara. Broke above 1878. If you have my charts, probably took a buy in here, and that looked good. As long as that level holds, should push up into here, 21.22 potentially, 21.50. That seems interesting at VWAP as well. It's definitely extended. Short-term rally potentially, momentum stepping to bullish. We've seen this before where you had two steps, and then we did get the continuation lower here, but we were very extended, broke above the SMA. That does not look the same as here, so we're above it. Like to see that continue here. Mara looks like a pretty decent move for potentially another 5 to 10%. Then moving over to Breadth here just for a moment, you can see very, very bullish Breadth here. You can see 100% on 20-day Breadth, big move, 221 EMA as your next resistance at 24.18. Clear double bottom, we talked about it. Clean moves up over the last couple days, and now we have a very strong push above this midpoint. Everything says this should continue higher, at least in the short term. 50-day, doing similar things, but not quite as strong. Still in this kind of base consolidation. Did close back above the 22 level. Haven't seen that for a couple of days. Momentum continuing to roll to bullish. RSI continuing to test the SMA and bounce higher from there. So Breadth saying markets should go a little bit higher in the short term. Moving over to the dollar just for a moment, you can see it sold off throughout the session. Probably part of why we got a little bit of a bounce in equities. We're right at the trend, so it's not like a major breakdown. We had the breakout yesterday, touch the level, breakdown back to the retest. Is it going to bounce from there? Is it going to cut through? Obviously remains to be seen. If it breaks down a little bit more, that should be bullish for equities. If it bounces from here, maybe not so much. Moving over to bonds just for a moment, you can see bonds did bounce for J&K up about 0.25%, momentum bullish. We've been saying this is rallying here right into the zone 96, consolidation of EMAs in there once we got the break yesterday. Couple of gaps, gapped up, held, looking for that next touch. But this is showing a potential for some risk on environment here over the next couple days. TLT not really going with it quite yet, still holding this base consolidation at this low back here from April of this year. Again, I still like bonds. I've been talking about it for a long time. Is this a buying opportunity? Depends on your time horizon. If it's short term, I would be patient. If it's medium term, I am probably buying. And I have been doing so right in this zone right now. And then finally here, quick look at the VIX selling off about 10%. We talked about the wick rejections at the 1850 level. We said if we got the continuation, we expected at least a touch of the 20 level. Did not end up playing out that way. We gapped down and fell throughout the session right to the 200. At this point, looking for a retest of the trend around that 1490-15 area. Momentum, bearish, RSI breaking down. To me, this says it should go at least a little bit lower. And then moving over to my accounts, I did pretty well on the day. It says I made about $950. I'm not sure how true that is, but year-to-date profits, pretty good. 1,100 over 2 trading days. I'm not sure, again, if that's exactly accurate, but it was a good trading day. Definitely was aggressive with my moves here. Went out to 7 days for $514 for $8 credit. Paid a little bit of a debit on that. Don't love it, but markets are aggressive and they look bullish, so sometimes you have to be a little bit more aggressive there. You can see the call did come in a little bit. Again, giving myself some room. The max profit on that position is going to be 522.60, so in line with some of those levels that we talked about. Want to give myself potential to allow markets to rally up a little bit. Are we going to hold those gains? I'm not really sure. Even if they do come in, we do have some protection over the next week. And then looking at NVIDIA, I just took the shares. I didn't do anything with it, just held the shares, bought at 142. You can see that. Small profit there. Like to see it. I think we're going to see a little bit more gains on NVIDIA. I'm going to hold that into the Monday session. Hopefully that goes well. We'll see. And then IWM rolled this out to 223 here for 5 days from now for $2.60 credit. Closed above my max profit. Again, not super fond of that, but overall made some money. You like to see that. And then again, max profit 225.60, so about another $1 or so over the next 3 trading days. Let me know down in the comment section what you thought of markets today. Did you play along with the moves? Hopefully you watched yesterday's video and got some of those moves, took positions early, or were long into yesterday's session. Let me know. Otherwise, like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video. Make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Good luck in your trading and have a great day.